Once upon a time, in a big green garden, lived a small moth named Timothy. Timothy was not like other moths who loved lamps and lights. What he loved most was birdwatching. He had a little notebook where he would draw all the birds he saw. But there was one bird he had never seen, the fiery-necked nightjar. This bird was very special because it had colors that looked like a sunset and it sang beautiful songs at night. Timothy really wanted to see it, but there was a big problem. The fiery-necked nightjar loved to eat moths. This made Timothy very scared, but he had a big heart and an even bigger dream. One starry night, Timothy decided it was time to see the fiery-necked nightjar. He knew it was going to be dangerous, but he wanted to see the beautiful bird more than anything. So he took a deep breath, flapped his tiny wings, and flew off into the night, hoping to see the bird without becoming its dinner. This was the beginning of Timothy's big adventure. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to make a new friend in a way he never expected. As Timothy flew through the night, he finally saw a shadow that looked like the fiery-necked nightjar. His heart was thumping with excitement and a little bit of fear. He remembered why he was scared. The nightjar eats moths. But Timothy had come too far to fly back now. He bravely fluttered closer and whispered, "Hello, Mr. Nightjar. I'm Timothy. I love watching birds, and I've always wanted to see you because you're so beautiful." The nightjar was surprised. "Why, thank you, Timothy. But you know I might eat you, right?" he said, tilting his head. Timothy nodded. "I know, but I have an idea. What if I help you find a mate, someone you can sing duets with at night? In return, could you promise not to eat me?" The nightjar thought for a moment. He had been lonely for a while and liked the idea of singing with someone. "All right, Timothy, it's a deal. But how will you help me find a mate?" Timothy smiled. "I have many friends in the garden, and I can ask them to spread the word. Plus, I can go on a quest to find her for you." And so, a deal was made under the moonlit sky. Timothy felt a rush of excitement. He was not only going to see his favorite bird, but also help him find love. This adventure was turning out to be more than he had ever dreamed of. The very next day, Timothy started his quest. He first visited Bella the bee, who was buzzing around flowers. "Bella, can you help me find a mate for the fiery-necked nightjar?" he asked politely. Bella, who loved to chat, agreed happily and buzzed off to spread the word. Next, Timothy met Fred the frog, who was croaking a jolly tune by the pond. "Fred, can you tell your pond friends about the nightjar?" Timothy said. With a big leap of excitement, Fred agreed. Word spread quickly in the garden, from the ants on the ground to the birds in the trees. Even though Timothy was small, his courage and friendship made him feel big and strong. As days passed, Timothy kept searching and asking around, never giving up hope. He flew over bushes, around flowers, and under leaves, looking for the nightjar's mate. One evening, as the sky turned pink and gold, Timothy heard a beautiful song. It was another fiery-necked nightjar, singing sweetly on her own. Timothy felt his heart flutter with joy. He had found her. He quickly flew back to tell his friend the nightjar about his discovery. That night, Timothy fell asleep early, tired but happy. He dreamed of the new friends he had made and the adventures they had shared. He couldn't wait to tell the nightjar the good news. The morning couldn't come soon enough. The next morning, Timothy was up at the crack of dawn, eager to share the good news with the nightjar. "I found her! I found a mate for you!" he exclaimed, fluttering around the nightjar excitedly. The nightjar's eyes sparkled with joy. "Lead the way, Timothy," he said. Together, they flew to the place where Timothy had heard the beautiful singing. The nightjar called out softly, and soon enough they saw her. She was as beautiful as the sunset, just like the nightjar. Timothy watched from a leaf as the two nightjars sang to each other. Their songs filled the air, making the whole garden seem magical. After a while, the nightjar flew back to Timothy. "Thank you, my friend. She's wonderful. You've made me very happy," he said, his voice filled with happiness. Timothy felt his heart swell with pride. He had done something really good. He had helped his friend and kept his promise. "Remember, you promised not to eat moths anymore." Timothy reminded the nightjar gently. The nightjar nodded. "I promise, Timothy. From now on, I'll find my food without harming moths. You have my word." That evening, as Timothy flew back home, he felt different. He had started this adventure wanting to see a bird, but he ended up doing so much more. He had made his garden a better place, and that felt amazing. Timothy's adventure had shown him that even a tiny moth could make a big difference. The whole garden buzzed with the news of Timothy's brave quest and the nightjar's promise. Everywhere he went, Timothy was greeted with cheers and smiles. His heart felt as light as his wings. One evening, as Timothy watched the sky turning shades of orange and purple, he saw the two nightjars flying together. They swooped and soared, singing their beautiful songs. Timothy realized that his dream had led to something even more special: friendship and peace in the garden. The nightjar and his mate became good friends to Timothy, always watching over him from the sky. Timothy continued his birdwatching, but now with new friends by his side, and every time he spotted a new bird, he would tell his story of the nightjar's pact. "No matter how small you are, you can always make a big difference," Timothy would say. That night, as he fell asleep, Timothy felt happy and content. He had learned that courage, friendship, and kindness are the most wonderful adventures of all. And so, Timothy the Moth, who once loved birdwatching from afar, became the bravest and most loved storyteller in the garden. We hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked this video, please go ahead and push the like button. If you like the content and want to see more, please subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.